We're making fingerless mitts today. We're crocheting them. First we make these little squares, then we turn them into these mitts. I love them. They're so cute. I used this yarn. LoLo did it in her plush sock base. And the colorway is Cornucopia. I just love how they turned out. I used this Knit Picks yarn just as the secondary yarn to attach the squares together. Join me in the tutorial. Let's have some fun. Hi, we're back and we're crocheting a pair of fingerless mitts for fall. We're using this LoLo Did It plush sock base yarn. It's her sock yarn. It is a 75% Superwash Merino wool, 15% nylon, 10% Tencel in her Cornucopia colorway. And let's go ahead and get started. We'll need a size E 3.5 millimeter crochet hook, some scissors, a darning needle, and a stitch marker. We're going to go ahead and start with making these little granny squares, and we're going to crochet them all together to make our mitts. Okay, we're going to go ahead and make a slip knot. We're going to make a chain 4. So we're going to go ahead and chain 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we're going to bring this chain 4 by putting our crochet hook in the first chain, yarn over, pull through that, and then pull through the other one on the hook, and that makes our little ring. We're going to chain 2, yarn over, go through the little hole in the center of the 4 that we created, yarn over, pull through that hole, pull through 2, pull through 2, yarn over into the chain 4 ring, pull through 2, pull through 2, chain 2. Okay. This is our first set of double crochets going into the little ring that we created. We have chain 2. We're going to do 3 more double crochets. Chain 2, 3 more double crochets, chain 2, 3 more double crochets, chain 2, and then we'll go ahead and go into the top of the first original chain 2 that we did. I'm going to go into that top of that stitch. Okay, and then we'll pull yarn over, pull through that, and pull through the last one on the hook. And so we've got our little square. This is our beginning square. So it's got 3 double crochets, chain 2 on the corners, and that's what it looks like. Let's see if we can get that to focus. Okay, yep, and that's what it looks like. Now we'll go ahead and turn our little square over, and we're going to chain 2, and we're going to do double crochet, another double crochet. So we've got our first set of 3 double crochets. That is the first chain 2 counts as the first one, and then I've got 2 other double crochets, and then we're going to do chain 2, double crochet, another double crochet. So we're going to do 3 double crochets. So we've got, okay, so there we go. We've got our 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, and that's the first double crochet counts as that. The first chain 2 counts as the double crochet. And we're going to go ahead and go over to this next hole and put in double crochet, 3 double crochets total, and then chain 2, 3 double crochets, okay, so we've made our next corner. That's how it looks so far, and we're basically just going around. So here's a finished one. We've done our first ring of double crochets, or our first round of double crochets in our square. Then we're working on these two right here. We're going to go ahead and yarn over and do the next corner of double crochet. So we'll do 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, that's 2, 1 more. So it looks like that. So there's our square so far. We're going to go ahead and go over to the next hole that's in the corner, do our next corner of double crochets. Okay, so there we are. We're going to go ahead and go into the top of the chain 2. There we go. And we yarn over, pull through, and pull through. So we're just going to do like a slip stitch to stitch that together. So we've got our square so far with 2 rounds of double crochets, like a double crochet granny around. We're going to go ahead and flip it over, chain 2, do 2 more double crochets in that first hole, and then we're going to go to the corner, make a corner again, chain 2, 3 double crochets. So we did 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, just like we did in the previous round. So that's our corner. So we're going to go ahead and do in the center, we're going to do just 3 double crochets in that center hole, just like that. And then we'll do another corner in the corner, and then we'll do 3 double crochets in this one, and then a corner in the corner, 3 double crochets in this one, 3 double crochets in this one, and a corner in this corner. And I'll meet you back here. I will go ahead and continue on with my crocheting. You can watch or you can jump ahead. Okay, so now we're back. We've got 3 double crochets in these center holes, And then we've got the corners in the corners, which are the 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. And we've got that in each corner. And even this corner. And then we'll go ahead and slip stitch to the top of the first chain 2. And there we go. We've got our square. So we'll go ahead and trim the yarn and yarn over, pull through, and then there's our square. So we'll go ahead and take the square and weave in the ends. In the center, I like to go ahead and just go around on these stitches, weaving in the ends, just kind of tightening up the little center circle. So if you go through the backs of all of these stitches, it kind of tightens up the center circle. Oops. Pull the one side out. There we go. Okay, so I went one more time around, and then I'll just go ahead and go through the back of some of the stitches to weave it in a little bit more. Okay, so just go back and forth however many times you would like. Okay, and go ahead and trim it. Okay, so and then just do the same thing with this one. It won't be by the center, but you'll just weave it in until you feel like it's sufficiently like that's fine. Okay, I'll go ahead and trim this one. And then there's our square. So now we just needed to make 16 squares for each mitt. And I've got my squares right here in piles of 8. So this will be 1 mitt and this will be 1 mitt. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started putting them together. So because I used this colored yarn and it's so highly variegated, I decided that I would like to connect my squares with more of a plain colored yarn. So I was looking at what I had in my collection, and I had this creamy white color. It is just a sock weight yarn from a big box store, a Deborah Norville Serenity sock weight. And then I have this tweed from Knit Picks, and it has little brown bits. I decided I think I'd like to use this to go with my highly variegated yarn. So this was the Stroll tweed Oyster Heather, and it is a fingering weight. So it's 65% superwash, 25% nylon, 10% Donegal tweed, and it is fingering weight machine wash. Okay, so that looks like a good selection for my yarn to connect all my squares together. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and attach the grannies together. So we've got our grannies with a corner space and then a space between the 3 double crochets here and here. So it just looks like this space, this space, this space, and this space. And we're going to connect the grannies. So I'm going to put another one behind it. I'm going to make a slip knot. And then I'm going to go into the corner of each granny. So the corner of this with this one to the right behind it. We're going in the corner space. I'm going to go ahead and pull yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. I'm going to do a chain 3. Going into this next space between these 2 granny stitches and these 2, I'm going to go ahead and do chain 3. Then going into the next space just do yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. So chain 3, going into the corner space on each of the squares, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, and so this is how it looks. This is how we're going to connect them together. So I'm going to continue on picking up the next granny squares that I have, putting them back to back, and going through those 2 corner holes. So my yarn is still attached. I'm just going to yarn over and pull through 2, and then do 1, 2, 3 chains going into the next space on each of the squares. Chain 3. Okay, and then going into the next space, yarn over, pull through 2, 1, 2, 3 chains, going into the next space on each of the corners, yarn over, pull through 2. So this is what we're looking like. Looks like this. So they're attached, and I'm just going to continue on. And I will catch back up with you when I've got all 8 of them attached together, and then we'll do the next parts. So we'll go ahead and just speed this up. You can watch me do it, or you can go ahead and speed along to the next section. Okay, so this is how it looks right now. So I am going to go ahead and trim my yarn and pull through on the end, and then we're going to go back and we're going to make a second set of these, or second one of these for that first mitt. So this will be the first side of the first mitt, and then there'll be another one on the other side of the mitt. So you'll see as we go along what we'll do next. Let me put the camera back down. Okay, so we're over here. We're looking at this end. We're going to go ahead and trim that. I'm going to go ahead and just pull through that first, or that end loop. And so I'm going to set this one aside. I'm going to get my next 8 to do the next one. And I'll meet you back here when I have them done, the 2 done, so we can see how we put it together. Okay, so here we are. We have got all of the sides put together. So this is the front and the back of one mitt and the front and the back of another mitt. We're going to do the attach here, chain 3, attach here, chain 3, attach here, chain 3, on up. And so I will meet you back here when I've got that all crocheted together. I'll go ahead and go over it just briefly. So what we'll do is we'll just take our yarn, we'll do another slip stitch. We're taking the square from this one and the square from this one with this crochet chain on the outside of both of these, and we're just going to go ahead and do these two together just like we did that the first time. So we'll go ahead and do that. Chain 3 going into that next hole, just on up, chain 3 into that next space, chain 3 into the next corner on both of the squares, and then we're going to go ahead and go to the next one just like this. So it looks like this, and we're going to go ahead and do that, and we're not breaking the yarn. We're just continuing on like we just did. 1, 2, 3 chains. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now this is what it's looking like. Go ahead and okay, so you can see we're doing the same thing as we did on these, on this first set when we attached them, but we're attaching the two sets together. And so this will be one mitt. We'll go ahead and do that same thing on this seam right here, and this will be another mitt. So I will meet you back here when I have them all attached in that method. And there are 2 squares. So, all right, we'll be right back. So we are back, and I have done the crochet attachment for this mitt and for this mitt. I'm going to go ahead and go back and crochet across all of these seams just the same way as we did before, just going over the top of this little chain. And I'll go ahead and show you how I'm going to do that. But we're just making our mitts. So these are the this is one mitt, this is the other mitt. We'll go ahead and crochet this side to this side eventually. This side to this side, like this. We'll go ahead and crochet that. But for now, we're just doing this set of seams to crochet them together on both sides, and I'll go ahead and show you how I start on the first one. But it's the same way as we did before. We will take it, we'll go like this, just like that, and we'll go ahead and do that same thing. We'll attach right here, chain 3, attach right here, chain 3, attach right here, chain 3, going on down the sides. So if you want to go ahead and meet back up with me, or I'll show how I start it, but we'll go ahead and just make our slip knots. And we're just going in the corner just as we did before. Chain 3, going in the space, chain 3, chain 3. Now in this one, when we get to this part of it right here, I just go in here to attach. I do chain however many you would like. I think chain 3 is fine. Well, then we're going to go over to this little corner in the corner of this one, and we'll go ahead and attach that. Chain 3. Going in this one. Okay, so, and then we're back at the next one. So we'll do chain 3. We're going into this corner on this one and on the back one. So just as we did before, chain 3, going to this side and going in this set of corner stitches. Okay, so let me open this up and just show you what it's looking like. Yes. Okay, it's just looking like this. So we're going to go ahead and continue on doing each one of these on this mitt, and then we're going to go to this mitt and do, oops, I had it the right way, each one of these, and then I'll meet you back here. Okay, so now we're back, and we have our little squares all crocheted together in that same method. And what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to weave in all these ends, because I have an end on either side of these of this Stroll tweed that I have attached the squares together with. So I'm going to go ahead and weave in the ends, and then I'll meet you back here. And I'm just going to weave in, I'll show you one, just one example of how I would do that. And you can do, of course, whatever you would like to weave in the ends. This is just an example. So maybe you go through these stitches. We're just trying to weave in and then maybe we bring it back through the back. Kind of weave it in a little bit on the inside. Until you feel like it's sufficiently woven. Just like that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do all of my weaving in, and I will meet you back here, and then we'll do the next step. Okay, we're back, and I have woven in all of the ends, and this is what it looks like. There's my pile of ends over there all crazy. And we're going to go ahead and move along with the project. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to take the square and make it into a tube. So let me go ahead and set the camera down. We'll go ahead and take the square. Okay, so yes, the square like this. And then we'll go ahead and fold it in half. And you guessed it, we're going to go ahead and seam this seam just like we did all of the other ones. And I'll go ahead and just show you how we do that. So we go ahead and start with a slip knot again. And we're doing just like we did before. In the corner, chain 3. In each of the spaces that we were doing before, chain 3. Just like that. So now we've come up to one of these the double corners. So we'll do that corner first. Then we'll do chain 3, Then we're doing this corner. And so on, just like we were doing all of the rest of the time. So looks like this. Oops, like that. And we'll go ahead and finish up our attaching of the, you know, I noticed this right here. If you feel like you would like to make sure to kind of, when in your chain 3, you can kind of grab this other side just so that you can attach it to there so that you can make a neater seam. You can do that so that it looks like there's no space. You can see that. So we'll go ahead and go up to the next one, and I'll just show you how I would do that. If I found that I wanted them to, I don't know, line up a little bit more, the one side with the other. Let's see. So then we're going into this corner hole like that, with a corner space. So I'm going to do chain 1 and then maybe in the middle of the chain 1, and that's just on this round where we're trying to attach the one side to the other. I might just go into here to do chain 2 and then chain 3 and then go ahead and attach them. And so that kind of makes it look like this is attached to the other side just a little nicer, since we're just attaching this final seam. So you can do what you like totally. I will meet you back here when I get this one and then this other one done into little tubes for the fingerless mitts. Okay, so we are back. We have crocheted up this final side to make these into tubes. And I have an end on either side, so I'm going to go ahead and weave those ends in, and I'll meet you back here. Okay, so we're back and we have all the ends woven in, and so now we're just going to work on crocheting a little something around the top and around the bottom. Let's go ahead and get started. Go ahead and do a slip knot to attach the yarn. And then I'll attach it in one of the corners on one of the squares. And the first thing I'm going to go ahead and do is just do a single crochet in each of the stitches all the way around, just so I can get that yarn attached. And if you'd like a close-up, I'm just going in that top, I'm not sure if you can see that top of that stitch, just like that, and doing a single crochet. And not pulling it extra tight, but doing it kind of loose. Then when I get to the corner square, I'll just go in that hole or the space in the corner, and then I will go into the space in the next corner. So we're just going all the way around. And really, you can do what you like. What if it feels like it is a good spot to crochet into, you know, it shouldn't be difficult. So if, you know, you don't quite make it in the right spot, it's just a pair of fingerless mitts. You know what I'm saying. Okay. All right, so we're just going to go ahead and do our single crochets all the way around the top so that it looks like this. And then I'm going to go ahead and attach the end one, the last single crochet, to the top of the first single crochet. And chain 2. And then I'm going to go ahead and make a double crochet in that same space and in each space all the way around. And the double crochet is just the chain, or just the yarn over, and then into the top two, like in here. You can see that, and then yarn over, pull through two, pull through two. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do this double crochet in the top of each one all the way around, and I'll meet back up with you when I finish. Okay, so we're back, and I've done the double crochet in the top of each single crochet. I'm going to go ahead, and I've done my last one. I'm going to go into this top of the first chain two and attach that so that it looks like this. I'm going to go ahead and snip the yarn and tie it off. And so that's how that looks. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other side of this one and on both sides of the other mitt. So I'm going to go ahead and get all caught up, and then I'll meet you back here and we'll go on to the next step. I have done the single crochet and the double crochet around both mitts, around the top and the bottom of both mitts. I'm going to go ahead and weave in my ends, and I will meet you back here, and we're going to do a little fancy edging around it with the multicolored yarn from LoLo Did It. Okay, we're back, and we're just putting a nice edging on our mitts. So around the bottom of the mitt, I'm going to go ahead and just do another double crochet row, just like this, just around the bottom of the mitt. So I'll go ahead and attach my LoLo Did It Cornucopia yarn that I use for the squares. Just do a slip knot, just like that. Attaching it to any space. I'm just going to pick one in the corner, chain two, and then we're going to do a double crochet in the top of each space. Each stitch, just like this. So if you can see, there's the two stitches, just like that. We're just going to go ahead and do a double crochet all the way around the bottom of the mitt. This is going to be the part of the mitt that is around your arm. Just making it a little bit longer. Now, of course, you could just do this with the other color yarn, but I thought I would switch back. To make a nice edging on it. So it looks like that. And I'll meet you back here when we get around the double crochet row. I'm not sure if you caught that, but I am double crocheting over the top of the end of the yarn so that I have one less end to weave in. So I'll just snip this at any point. I've double crocheted over a lot of it already, so I'll just go ahead and snip this little end. Okay, and then continue on. And I'll meet you back at the end of the row. Okay, so we're back at the end of the row. We've done our last double crochet. We're going to go ahead and go into the top of the first one, the first two chains, and just attach them together. A little bit of a tail so I can weave that end in. So that's what it looks like. And that will be our bottom of our mitt. So for the top of the mitt, we're just going to do a little something decorative. We're going to go ahead and do slip knot. I'm gonna go ahead and just attach to the top of any double crochet. I'm going to go ahead and do chain 3 and then go skip one top of a double crochet and go into the next one and just do a single crochet. 1, 2, 3, single crochet, 1, 2, 3, skipping this one, going into this one, 1, 2, 3, 3. Okay, so we're just making like a little edging on the top, and it looks like this. So it's super cute. I love how it turned out. I'm going to go ahead and finish this round and I'll show you how we end it. Okay, so we're back to the end of our round. I'm going to go ahead and do my last 1, 2, 3 chains and attach to the beginning of this first. Stitch. I'm going to go ahead and snip the yarn. And then I'm going to go ahead and weave in my ends. But that is how it turned out. It's so cute. So this is what they look like. So that is how they look. They're super cute. I love them. I love this yarn that Lauren dyed. This plush sock in the Cornucopia colorway. It is so cute. And I have so much of it left. I could make a second pair. But look at that. Look how they turned out. They're so cute. I love them.